Dear students of class 9A and 9B, welcome to my history revision class. Today's lesson number 3, New Ideas and Religions. New Ideas and Religions. Points as I mentioned in the board, please look at it. Jain Literature, Patronization, Art and Architecture, Buddhism, and finally Enlightenment. First one, Jain Literature. What is Jain Literature? And who introduced the concept of Jainism? You know, the concept of Jainism was introduced by Lord Vardhamana Mahavira. Lord Vardhamana Mahavira introduced the new religious concept, Jainism, and made it popular among the common people, popular among the common people and throughout the country, India. Now this is Jainism. And now what is Jain literature? The Jain religious literature is mainly written in Ardha Magadhi, which is mixed dialect. Lord Vardhamana Mahavira introduced a new language that was Prakrit. Earlier, especially during Vedic age, each and every part of discussion was done through the language Sanskrit. And only the Brahmins knew that very language Sanskrit. Common people could not understand easily. They remained in the dark. They did not understand. They couldn't understand, but neither they could understand nor they could raise any question for the explanation done by the Brahmins for them, even rich people also. But after the introduction of a new language, Prakrit, by Vardhamana Mahavira, there came a new change in the society. People became more and more eager regarding the concept of new religion and religious concept, Jainism, and then at the same time, Lord Mahavira's introduction of new language, Prakrit, changed the entire system of education. And as a result, Jain literature also was formed. Jain literature led to the growth of many regional languages. 12 Angas and Upangas formed the main body of Jain literature. A Jain council at Pataliputra compiled the teachings of Mahavira into 12 Angas. They contain teachings of Jain, Tirthankaras, and rules for Jain monks. Other important works of Mahapurana by Jinansena and Ratnamalika by Amogvarsa. So this is about Jain literature. And next point, patronization. What is patronization? Most of the kings during that period when Lord Mahavira introduced the language Prakrit and made it acceptable to the people of India, many rulers, business community of different states of India, they came forward for the patronization of the newly introduced religious concept Jainism. Who were they? The rulers were Rashtrakutas, Chalukyas, and business community of Gujarat. They extended their financial help towards the religious concept Jainism. Chandragupta Maurya also followed the tenets of Jainism and attained Nirvana. Besides, severity of self-denial, which was the main concept of the religion, of the Jains, Mahavira introduced, that was self-deniance and penance. But it was very difficult for most people to follow. This was one of the reasons that Jainism didn't spread far and wide, like Buddhism. And next one, art and architecture. The Udaygiri and Khandagiri caves in Odisha were constructed during when Jainism accepted among the people. During that particular period, Udayagiri caves were built by King Kharvela, who ruled in Odisha. Udayagiri caves were used as monasteries. Udayagiri caves were used as monasteries. Rani Gumpha and Bagh Gumpha are the two most important caves containing inscriptions. Most of the caves had projected balconies. These were constructed by the rulers who patronized the concept Jainism, allowed the Jain monks to teach from there, and constructed a number of monasteries over there. It was at the Dilwara temple and Mount Abu of Rajasthan with exquisite carvings on marble, and temple at Ranakpur, also the example of beautiful Jain architecture. The huge statue of Gomoteswar at Sarnavanagala also exhibit excellent craftsmanship, and these were done under the patronization of different rulers of different states of India, who extended their financial cooperation towards the Jain monks. As a result, a number of monasteries were constructed with great beauty and charm, with great architecture, style. This was done in order to establish the concept Jainism throughout the country by different rulers of different states of India. Next one, Buddhism. Another religious concept was Buddhism. It was introduced by Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha introduced one religious concept. This newly introduced religious concept came to be known as Buddhism. Now, who was Lord Buddha? Lord Buddha's actual name was Gautama Siddhartha. Gautama Siddhartha, who was born around 563 BCE at Lumbini near Kapilavastu near Nepal. He lost his mother within a week of his birth, and then he was brought up with all the love and affection that could be given to any child by his mother's sister Gautami. His father Shuddhadana was the ruler of Kapilavastu. Siddhartha's innate sensitivity revolted against the harsh training and traditions of this caste. His father's attempt to blind him to his real life, but an early marriage to the beautifully and well-looked girl Yashodhara. It didn't work also. One day he went out of the vast palace and witnessed something that changed his life. In Buddhist literature, these are called four great signs. What are the four great signs which suddenly changed the lifestyle of Lord Buddha? He was not Lord during that time. He was a member of a royal family. He was then Gautama Siddhartha. His father got him married with a well-looked lady or girl, and that very girl, Yashodhara, couldn't change his lifestyle. Although, see what's that something, some changes were forming in the habits of Gautama. She was thinking whether she would leave the royal family. But what she thought came to be true. During midnight, Gautama left the vast palace. Before that, he saw the four sights which changed his life. What were the four sights? Number one, old man crying and being forsaken by his relatives. One old man. And one sick man struggling to bear his pain. And third one, a dead man surrounded by his wailing relatives. And fourth one, a peaceful ascetic. So a old man was crying at being forsaken by his relatives. That very old man realized that in this world no one is with him. No one was with him. No one was with him. He was alone. And it was swaying. And what he was thinking, his body language showed it that what was happened to him was not good. A sick man struggling to bear his pain. There was pain over his body, over his whole abdomen, over his whole body. But he was trying to bear his pain. He was also a sick man and a dead man. A dead man, and his body was lying down on the ground, and his relatives, they all were sitting, surrounding that dead body and were crying. And finally, a peaceful ascetic, that very ascetic was sitting under a tree and was in the form of meditation. His body language was pure. His body language was purely free of all anxieties. He was in the form of meditation. So these are the four sides. Touched the heart of Gautama Buddha. Finally, he decided to search out the answers of these four sides by facing the reality. He realized that he must seek answer to the questions about life, humanity and misery that seem to follow man wherever he goes. However, all his concepts, all his thinkings, all his queries, whatever he had was of no use. He made up his mind to give up the security of his palace life and seek answers of life's greater miseries. In the outside world, at the age of 29, he left the comforts of his home to lead the life of an ascetic, to face the reality, to learn the truthfulness of life. This in Buddhist literature is known as the Great Renunciation. Living his life at the age of 29 is known as the Great Renunciation. His search for eternal truth led him to many renowned teachers of Hindu philosophy, but none could answer his queries. This is about the concept Buddhism, later introduced it. Now, enlightenment. What is enlightenment? Lord Buddha practiced severe penance for 12 years, reducing his body to an emaciated skeleton form. He didn't eat any food and got himself punished. As a result, his body was the body weight was reduced, and he was turned to be a skeleton. He realized that enlightenment cannot be achieved by punishing the body. He later on realized that enlightenment cannot be achieved by punishing the body. What should be done? It is believed that he then sat. Something should be new technique and method. Some new technique and method should be followed, he realized. He experimented while giving severe punishment to his body that some new technique and method should be taken, should be adapted. What was it? He sat under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya and meditated for 49 days. Meditated there for 49 days. At the end of this period, he attained enlightenment and saw the truth. He came to be known as Buddha or the Enlightened One. Gautama preached his first sermon at Sarnath, which is known as Dharmachakra Pravartana, or the turning of the wheel of law in Buddhism. His first disciples were 5 holy men. His first disciples were 5 holy men who formed the core of the Buddhist monastic order, received knowledge from Lord Buddha orally. Lord Buddha gave them some ideas, taught them orally. Whatever knowledge Lord Buddha gained while facing the real technique and method, meditation, penance, whatever technique he adapted, and finally came to a conclusion that meditation was the right process, not giving a punishment to the body. So meditation was the only way. What he had done for a term of 49 days, and at the end of this period, he attained the enlightenment and realized what was truth in this world. He came to be known as Buddha or the Enlightened One and started preaching his first sermon from Sarnath onwards. And this incident which happened at Sarnath is known as Dharmachakra Pravartana, or the turning of the wheel of law in Buddhism. This fact encouraged 5 disciples of Lord Buddha who had been eagerly waiting for Lord Buddha. Whenever Lord Buddha would come and sit under the people tree, and they would receive knowledge from him orally. Finally, Lord Buddha came and saw that 5 of his 5 favorite disciples were sitting beneath that people tree, and Lord Buddha was attracted by them and by their patience. He started teaching them orally, and they received the knowledge from Lord Buddha orally. These were the first disciples, first 5 disciples who were known as 5 holy men, formed the core of the Buddhist monastic order. Gautam Buddha preached for about 45 years in his life by traveling all over India and outside India also, because he went to Terai region, present day India, Nepal area, to spread his ideas about eternal bliss, eternal truth. Buddha attained Parinirvana around 483 BCE at the age of 80 at Kushinagar in modern Uttar Pradesh. His body remains were distributed amongst the followers, and they raised stupas over them, making them holy seasides and places of pilgrimage. Lord Buddha left his last breath at the age of 80 at Kushinagar in Uttar Pradesh, and then the remains, his bodily remains were distributed amongst his followers. His followers started raising a number of stupas in the name of Lord Buddha in order to preserve his body parts over there. As a result, a number of stupas were constructed by a number of distinguished people, rich people, and a number of distinguished kings like Emperor Ashoka, like Kanishka. They also constructed a number of stupas in order to preserve the body parts of Lord Buddha over there, and also declared they also declared it to be the holy centers, holy sites, and holy places of pilgrimage for pilgrimage. And as a result, a number of travelers, number of pilgrims, They started coming from abroad to see and witness the historical, the holy places of Lord Buddha, and they witnessed its architecture, which was introduced by Emperor Ashoka and Kanishka. Up to this, my dear students, next day I shall re-explain the remaining points. Thank you.